has been labelled as one of Brendan Rodgers' best performances across his managerial career, and instead of raving on about 40 minutes and a 3-0 defeat to Real Madrid, Celtic have done the full Monty, the full 94 minutes against Atalanta, where they've won 0-0, but it was actually a draw. So let's get into it. Let's break it down and give them all the plaudits in the world.
Aye, let's give all the plaudits in the world, unlike that intro to this video. But we'll continue on. Celtic.
No, I did it purposely. I'm pretending they won. You get it? No, the banter. Oh, we beat Real Madrid across 40 minutes.
If you say so.
Cal McGregor hit the post. Anyway.
Celtic went to Italy tonight. Not a lot of people gave them a chance. Not a lot of people thought they would be able to keep the scoreline down. Atalanta was expected to put quite a few goals past Celtic, and that did not happen. Therefore, I think we need to give Celtic a lot of credit. I thought Trusty probably had his best performance in a Celtic shirt tonight. A guy that has got a lot of criticism over the past, few weeks, month, and rightfully so, because he does look like a weak link, especially with Carter Ficker's not there, and he is quickly looking like, the third best centre-back for Celtic. However, tonight, he really was good. He stepped up, he done his job. Him and Scales were, a solid unit at the back. Alistair Johnson and Fallet, I thought, also done their job as well, and who knows, Fallet seems to have one good game, followed by a poor game, followed by a good game. Interesting there. The midfield, you know what, Rodgers says that he wasn't going to change, and he quite clearly did change tonight, because Celtic were sitting back, Celtic were compact, and you can't really complain. That's what they need to do. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. They cannot play the top teams in Europe like they play the teams in the Scottish Premiership. If you do that, then it's going to end in a disaster. I thought Celtic were good tonight, despite not creating many chances, but they defended well, and they created a couple of opportunities, and on another night, who's to say they wouldn't have scored? I don't agree with Ida starting over Kyogo, but Kyogo was able to come on with about 20 minutes to go, and he looked lively, and there was a couple of times where Kyogo actually created a few chances for himself. One shot he had was turned out to be offside, then he had another header that was just over the crossbar, but I thought he looked like a threat when he came on. But overall, it was a good performance for Celtic. My problem is, I think Celtic deserved this draw, despite not creating many chances. And here's how full of shite some of the fans are, and here's how biased some of the fans are. When I say that Ross County or Aberdeen deserve draws against Celtic, people will come out and say, what do you mean they deserve? We're Celtic, we had more shots. People want to point out that Celtic created more shots against Ross County. Right, well, you technically you did on paper, you created more shots, but how many clear-cut chances did you create? Barely any. Look at the stats tonight. 22 shots for Atalanta, 4 for Celtic. So, based on Celtic fans' own logic, Celtic didn't deserve a draw tonight. They stole a point. Based on the stats alone, people can't comprehend that the superior team is, more often than not, going to have more chances. That doesn't mean that you can't be the team with less shots and still deserve a point. It doesn't. You can have less shots and deserve to win. That's not how football works. It's not a case of, whoever has the more shots was the better team. Fuck no, because the more expensive team, the better team on paper, is likely going to have more shots. Rangers had more shots than Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock deserved to beat Rangers. Who cares about who had the most shots?
It is that simple.
So for me, despite Celtic only having 4 and Atalanta having 22, I think Celtic were definitely worth a point tonight. But it's just funny, isn't it, how when Celtic have to sit back and claw a draw and be compact and just sit and take wave of attack after attack after attack. We're okay. You're okay to praise that, but when it happens in the Scottish Premiership, it's no, that team got dominated. They never deserved this. They never deserved that. I mean, people just need to be fucking a bit more on. I don't like that guy, Stevie. Get him off the chat. You don't like that guy because he tells the fucking truth and you can't handle it. So anyone with an issue, go fuck yourselves. Now, are you going to back me here? Are you going to agree, or are you going to pander to a certain audience?
I don't pander to fucking net. I pander to myself, I'll let you know. Right, Jambo Don, so fucking get off your high horse, mate.
Well, go.
Hold that 11th place and know your fucking role.
Here, I'll be 10th next week, mate, right?
10th next week, right. This is a good draw for Celtic, but yeah, he's right. Here, this is what Celtic had to do to get something tonight. I don't think it's a good look for Rodgers, though. It's like, Lennon's probably right. This is one of his best results in Europe, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't take to 2024, considering how long that Brendan Rodgers has been managing, and especially for Celtic in Europe. He's really underachieved in Europe, but here, he said he wouldn't change. He clearly did change tonight. I mean, could Celtic have went a wee bit more attacking and laid a glove on Atalanta a wee bit more, potentially, but then they could have lost it. And for me, it's a point that's guaranteed them the knockout stages. I think it has, because, they're on 4. They've got some favourable home games coming up. There's 5 games to go. And realistically, I think a win could see them through. Just a win, but I think they'll get 2. I mean, as for the game itself, it wasn't pretty on the eye. I mean, he predicted 3-1, I predicted 4-1. When Brendan Rodgers says he's not going to change, I believed him. I thought he wouldn't change. I thought he would have just went gun-ho. But he did change. And it's a good draw. This was a 2-legged affair. You would fancy Celtic with a lot of potential at Celtic Park. See the gun-ho, right, and playing attacking football. I think you can only try that at Parkhead. When the crowd's on, the crowd is with you. See, going away to these tough away games, man, you can't play it, and Rodgers learned that, and you know what? For his sake, he'll be hoping that this is a stepping stone. This is where he can put the mantle down and be like, right, we build on this, and it means now when we go away from home, we're not just going to be ridiculous and try ridiculous things.
I don't believe you answered my question.
No, I totally agree. See in the Scottish Premiership, right?
See what Celtic done tonight.
No, the difference is, I'd see Ross County, right, and teams like that, they can't outplay Celtic, right? They can't. That doesn't mean they have to be better than them. Of course they don't. It is so rare in our league for a team to actually outplay Celtic and go toe-to-toe with them and beat them. In the stats, possession, everything. When was the last time it happened?
The only team that should be able to do it realistically is Rangers.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll get the odd time where an Aberdeen or Hearts will do it. And I think we've seen that over the years, especially Hearts. We've seen a few times with Hearts. But it's not often it happens. The majority of the times, even when Hearts do beat Celtic, it's not like they've played them off the pitch.
Teams have to play well.
They took their chances.
Teams have to play well to get something against Celtic, right? See in 2024, right here, right now, October, teams don't even have to play well in the league to get anything off Rangers. I don't think Kelly were that good. Honestly, I don't. I just think Rangers are that bad. But see, Celtic, though, you have to be good against Celtic.
Celtic fans will come out and say they played well tonight and they deserved a draw. And I think they did. I completely agree. I think Celtic deserved a draw. And I'm happy Celtic got a draw. And if Atalanta had scored late on, I think it would have been really harsh on Celtic because they put up a great performance, great effort, energy for 94 minutes. The problem is, see if you switch this around, see if this is a Scottish Premiership game in Atalanta or Celtic, and Celtic or Ross County, and it finishes 0-0. The same Celtic fans that are claiming Celtic deserved and were worthy of a point tonight are coming on bashing County and claiming them, accusing them of being negative and saying they got lucky and they got pummeled and they were, they faced chance after chance after chance and they somehow fluked a draw. It's the mindset here.
No, this is the sort of performance that's seen Rangers do so well in the road to the Europa League final. You've got to do this away. We've seen it loads of times, whether it was away to Leipzig where they lost 1-0, or even when they lost to Red Star Belgrade 2-1. But Celtic actually went one better than that.
And I'm only bringing this up because there are a lot of people on the channel complaining and bitching because I said Ross County deserved a draw, and their little fucking fragile ego minds couldn't handle it. But I mean, let's just look at the stats tonight. Atalanta had 22 shots to Celtic's 4. The Ross County game, Celtic had 24 shots to Ross County's 8. So there you can see Celtic only had 3 times the amount of Ross County shots, but tonight Atalanta had more than 5 times the amount of Celtic shots. Do the maths, it's not hard. In terms of how many shots were on target tonight, Atalanta had 6 on target compared to Celtic's 2. So Atalanta had 3 times the amount on target. Ross County versus Celtic. Celtic had 6 shots on target to Ross County's 5. So only 1 more. Yeah, people were losing their shit. People were saying, I hate Celtic, or I'm biased towards Celtic, or get him off this channel, because I said that Ross County deserved a draw because they were in the game, they made it tough for Celtic, they defended well, and both goals were extremely unfortunate for Ross County to concede, yet people were pissing their pants over I thought Ross County deserved a draw. Yeah, I've said Celtic deserve a draw tonight, And I bet you everybody else will be saying, oh, Celtic deserved it. We could have even won that game. We could have nicked that game. You know,
So-
where's the consistency?
So in layman's terms, Celtic fans on this channel live rent-free in your head?
I think you could say that.
Woo! Anyway, I mean, in terms of the game, right, it would be pretty boring to go through it. I thought Palisic, what's his name?
No, I just can't.
Palisic? Whatever his name is.
I just can't be arsed with bullshit, man.
He had a bunch of shots. I thought he could have done better. Raul had a header. Engels had a shot save. Kyogo had a shot save. Sabacosta put it over the bar. Filet had a deflected shot tipped over. The big guy up front, Rutikege, he had a header as well. One hit the bar. I mean, yeah, Kasper Schmeichel, as Joe Hart said in commentary, he didn't really have an awful lot to do in the second half. It was more the first half. And as for Celtic, Arsenal went away to Atalanta and struggled. Arsenal, albeit not exactly in the greatest form right now, but I mean, if Arsenal go and struggle, I mean, you would expect Celtic to struggle.
I don't think Kasper was that great, to be honest. I don't think that he was. I don't think he's the reason Celtic got. I thought Celtic were really good.
I thought Celtic were comfortable enough today.
I thought Celtic defended well. This isn't a case of Kasper Schmeichel bailed out Celtic. That's not true. I mean, it's not the case of he made 3 or 4 world-class saves to keep Celtic in the game. He had a couple of saves to make, especially in the first half. But Celtic were defensively very good, and they limited Atalanta to creating, in terms of clear-cut opportunities, not a lot. Atlanta's best 2 opportunities were probably in the first half when they had the Croatian man, who was it, Palisic? They allowed him 2 free headers.
I think that's how you get his name. I don't really
One
know.
hit the crossbar, and the other one flew over the bar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was probably as close as it got for Atalanta.
No, it was. I mean, as it stands right now,
But
Celtic...
I would certainly give Trusty and Scales a lot more credit than I would Schmeichel.
No, same.
'Cause I thought they were better performers tonight,
Yep.
and they did more.
As it stands, though, Celtic currently sit 21st. Now, there is a lot of games ongoing and that can change. But, I mean, just to put things into perspective, Storm Graz, Red Star Belgrade and Slovan Bratislava all sit at the bottom with 3 defeats having already played, which... this Champions League format, it's not leaving too much room in terms of upsets. But there has been a few well-performing teams. I mean, you've got Monaco and Brest in the top 3. And considering how what people think of the French League, that's pretty good.
But I just think this is a failure. We're going to get into the last 2 match days. You're going to have so many teams that cannot be caught. So many teams are guaranteed to go through, and you're going to have a bunch of teams that are already out by match day 7.
See, by like you get to match day 7 and 8, the top teams are going to be fielding like their second 11.
Whereas, say what you want, but see when you get to match day 5 of the old Champions League, or even match day 6 or whatnot, it would be very rare that there's not positions up for grabs. Even if you're top, the likelihood is you can still be caught for second place, or if you're last, the likelihood is you can still catch third. See, going into the final 2 games, it would be near impossible for you to not be able to swap positions.
No.
Under the old Champions League format, with 2 games to go, regardless of whether you have 12 points or 0 points, it would be impossible for you not to have an opportunity to change your position in terms of whether you're going to be in the top 2, third, or last and get eliminated. But with this new format, I think we're going to see, but into the last 2 games, we're going to see a lot of these teams at the bottom on like 0 points and still have no chance of going through.
No, I agree. So Celtic, obviously, that puts them on to 4 points. The next 2 games, home to Leipzig, home to Club Brugge, then away to Dynamo Zagreb, home to Young Boys, and then away to Aston Villa. So I think they'll quite comfortably go through that.
They should only need 2 wins, should guarantee Celtic to go through. I think they can.
I look at the Young Boys and the Club Brugge games, they'll pick up, they have to. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a long way away. Like, see the Young Boys match? I mean, that's the 22nd of January. How different is the season going to be looking in the 22nd of January across the board? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm a fan of these 2 extra games into January. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it could be massive, especially if you're in a title fight and you've got European games taking you to January.
No,
I'd say the chances of Celtic still being playing past January is really good, actually. Because I believe that the playoffs will take place in February.
Yep. No, I think this draw's secured them going through.
I think there's a good chance that Celtic will be playing Champions League football well into February. And if Aberdeen do continue the way they're going, then possibly they could maybe do something because they're not in Europe. So
Yeah, I mean, if Celtic are obviously going to be running on all races domestically. If they go far in the Champions League, and by far, I mean, I don't think there's really much more for them past the last 16. Here, you never really...
But that could also affect, depending on how close Aberdeen are pushing Celtic, or if Rangers can get back into it.
Right, let's forget about Rangers, mate.
That could potentially affect Celtic, because if Celtic have breathing space at the top of the Premiership table, maybe Rodgers can afford to, rest his key players for the Champions League matches. Maybe he can afford to, just not play players or give them the game off afterwards. But if Celtic are actually being pushed domestically, then that means that he's not going to be able to just completely focus on the Champions League, because that could be difficult for him.
Yeah, this is obviously a good point.
Because anytime we've seen Celtic, right, not be at their best domestically, it's normally around Christmas. As soon as they're knocked out of Europe, that's when they push on.
Yeah.
We've seen Hearts top of the table.
When was the last time Celtic were through?
I think it was a few years ago we've seen Hearts top of the table.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's longer than a few years ago, but Hearts were top.
40 years ago.
And then you had Kilmarnock top. Remember, Kilmarnock were top in December in 2019-18. So, we have seen maybe Celtic not be at their best, but normally, as soon as they get knocked out of Europe, that's when they kick on.
Yeah.
But obviously this year, they're going to be in Europe probably up until February.
It's a very good draw, right? It is. And what it should mean is, I think all the Scottish teams will avoid defeat this week, which is very good for the coefficient. I think Rangers will... I'm expecting Rangers not to lose the Mara. I think a draw would still be disappointing, don't get me wrong. And as for Hearts, I think Hearts will win. So I think this was the worrier. Would you agree?
Oh, fuck, of course it was, aye.
It was, but
you know what, that's kind of... We're worried because Brendan Rodgers kind of lied to us.
Aye.
And by the way, I said us. Oh, look, he said us. Funny that, because even if we're talking about Rangers and I say us or we, all of a sudden...
Jambo Bell.
No, but
Jambo
it's
Bell.
embarrassing,
Yeah,
man.
Jambo boy.
This is...
Yeah, Jambo boy tonight.
Maybe aye.
Jambon.
But this is Scottish football. Of course I want Celtic to do well in Europe. Of course I do. And when I'm speaking about Celtic from a Scottish football perspective, I am going to use the terms and words such as we and us, because they're Scottish, we're Scottish, and we are representing them in this video. We're not making this video to talk about Atalanta. Couldn't they care about Atalanta?
Atalanta boy.
No,
Right.
But you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. Of course I know what you mean.
Anyway, what's the point I was trying to make for when half one there?
There is no I in team.
No, before that.
I
said something about us.
Rangers and Hearts are all going to win.
Aye, Brendan Rodgers, he lied to us because he said he wasn't going to change, and that's why we got worried. We were all thinking, well, if he's not going to change his style, this could be a long, long night for Celtic. But he did change his style, and you know what? Maybe he was playing mind games. You ever think that? Maybe Rodgers here was... Maybe he was trying to lure...
We're playing checkers and he's playing chess.
Maybe he was trying to lure Atalanta into a false sense of, maybe he's trying to get the... Alright, I'm going to say we're going to go all out like we did against Dortmund, and Atalanta will be expecting that. Yeah, we're going to sit in tight, and we're going to confuse them. We're going to infuriate them. That could have been the case for Rodgers.
Could have been the case for Rodgers, guys, but that's where we're going to leave it. We're back soon, more fallout to this game, and then tomorrow there's a lot of games to get into tomorrow. I'm like, Thursday nights are the best, aren't they, man?
Aye, Thursday nights, man.
You roll, man.
Fun special.
Aye, Jambo Bears unite tomorrow. Anyway, till next time. Peace.